Good day, Merry Meet. My name is Glennis and I am the Witch of Whitetail Hollow. I want to warmly welcome you to my channel. I want to thank you guys so much for joining me. Well, I am starting my new series. This is the first. And again, this is really simple, basic things. This is how I work with oils. And certainly, if you do it a different way, and it works for you, then that's awesome. But I've always been the kind of person that no matter how old I am or how busy I am, I always like to stop and listen because you never know when you're going to learn something. So again, this is my way, not necessarily the right way. It's how I was taught many moons ago. I just thought I'd share it with you guys because there's nothing more discouraging than to work with an oil or an herb or whatever and it not produce the results that you anticipate that it's going to. So, but what I want to start off with, and if this is all very basic for you guys, I apologize so much, but again, it might be something you guys have never thought about before or whatever, but a lot of us work with carrier oils, and I want to talk with about your carrier oils. I have worked with, and I've got them all down here, so excuse me for bending over. I've worked with olive oil, sunflower oil, jojoba, uh, fractionated coconut. I've got almond, grapeseed, and I've got stabilizers here as well. And we'll talk about that, I hope, as quickly as possible. But how I work with my carrier oils is I absolutely charge my carrier oils. And for the amount of time that it takes, I hope that you will consider doing it too. But no matter, let's see if I, yeah, no matter what kind of container that you use, whether it be a cleansed, and when I mean cleansed, not only washed, but cleansed with salt water and rinsed and dried. Absolutely. Whether you use a jelly jar, a Dollar Tree jar, or something a little bit more exotic, it's actually all the same. And what I do when I'm working with my carrier oils is I use a planetary hour chart. So you may want to find one online and print it up if you're going to follow along the series, which I absolutely hope you do. But I absolutely go by this as far as charging my carrier oils, as far as charging my carrier and my essential oils and my herbs as well. I absolutely go by this because you guys know very well I work with the moon as much as humanly possible. Of course, sometimes there are emergencies and what are you going to do, right? But I do try to keep as much carrier oils charged so when I do need to do something very quickly, then I can. And it's all a matter of organization too. If you can kind of, organize it in a way that makes sense to you, then it'll work great. But a lot of us work, let's see what I've got here, with just the classic olive oil. And again, this is a great substitute for any oil, but this is ruled by the sun, and the element that is associated with it is fire. And so it is good for healing, peace, fertility, and protection. And also, these are interchangeable. If you don't have olive oil and you have sunflower oil, they are both ruled by the sun and fire. So olive oil and sunflower. And again, a lot of this information I'm going to go over as quickly as I can. I will absolutely drop this in the description box below. Okay. So if you just don't have sunflower and an oil calls for it, olive oil is perfectly fine, perfectly fine. And I use grapeseed. Now, grapeseed is ruled by the moon, and its element is water. And so and also jojoba is ruled by the moon and water. So if you only have jojoba and something says grapeseed, then use your jojoba. Or if you something calls, vice versa. So with grapeseed is for fertility, money, and you guys know my fertility works very, very well. Money, and grapeseed properly charged also strengthens your mental capabilities. But now with jojoba, it's with healing, more along the lines of healing and love. And let's see what else I have down here. I have almond oil. Now, almond is ruled by Mercury and the element of air. And as we all know, Mercury has a lot to do with communication. So if you're going to make an oil that has to do with having someone call you, or if you want to work on your communication skills or your lack thereof, then absolutely almond oil. But I also use it for prosperity, money, and wisdom. So we can always use a little bit of extra wisdom. And some of the other oils that I made notes of, but I don't have here, is avocado. It's ruled by Venus, and the element is water, love, lust. Of course, Venus, love, and lust. And yeah, so if you're going to follow along, absolutely print up a planetary chart, hourly chart. So what I do when I start charging my carrier oils, how I do it is again, I'm just going to show just a jelly jar. It's been cleansed, absolutely. But I absolutely will, and if you cannot burn incense in your home, or if someone is sensitive, then by all means, you absolutely can use a diffuser and do it this way. But you can say something, into this smoke, I release all energies that do not serve me. Into this smoke, I release all negativity that surrounds me. And into this smoke, I release all fears that limit me. And it's just a matter of that. And the best thing to charge a carrier oil, and although they each have their own properties, the power comes from you to it. So I very, very often, when I'm working in my altar and I've already started meditating, and you guys know, and you know how to go into meditation, you focus on your breathing and you work on your breathing, you build the power up and energy up into your hands. Release your smoke. It doesn't have to be closed up, but make sure that's gone. And pour your oil, however much you're going to need. This really would be a lot of oil and would absolutely need a stabilizer. But if you want to do just a very, very small bit, and if it's just for a very, very, like a specific person or an occasion or event, like I'm actually getting ready to make some Lunasa oil to celebrate Lunasa in a few days. And so for that, I'm not going to use any of these oils. I'm going to use, of course, corn oil. So I'm absolutely going to make some Lunasa oil. But again, not this much. I'm going to make just a very small amount. But just pour your oil in and As you've already built up the energy, just sit and put your intention into the oil and basically go from there. And it's just as simple as that. Now, if you're, just for example, let me set this down. If you're going to make, if you're going to use your almond oil for a communication spell, you know, you want someone to phone, or you want to improve your speaking skills, you've got to make a big presentation or something like that, and you want to work on your communication. So that's Mercury. Okay, so the best time to work with your almond oil, today is Wednesday, so I'm looking at my chart here. Today is Wednesday, and the best time to start charging and working with this oil would be at midnight, which has already passed. But the next time, let's see, I go down, the next time is 7 a.m. Well, I've already missed that too. And I go down, and the next time for me to start charging and working this oil is at 2 p.m. Well, if that doesn't fit into your schedule, the next time would be at 9 p.m. on a Wednesday. And it really all depends on the day that you choose. So there you go. It is honestly just that simple to charge your base oils, and you can absolutely always, when I buy essential oils and bring them into my sacred space, I always cleanse the exterior. Now, there's no need to cleanse the interior, but I will sit with them, and I will put my energy into them and charge them as much as humanly possible. And again, I will put my carrier oils here. I will take this back and set it back and let it go. I usually, if it's just my carrier oils, I just absolutely just keep them on my altar and kind of go from there. If there's something that I need, and I need to grab one quickly, then I absolutely will have plenty. Now, if there is a carrier oil that you're trying to charge for, just say for love, then it's absolutely totally fine to put rose quartz in here, whatever you associate with love. If you're thinking about protection, of course, choose something that resonates, as far as a crystal is concerned, resonates with protection. And if you don't want to get that micro-focused on which crystal is good for which one, then clear quartz is always a perfect go-to. I use clear quartz in my moon water, as you guys already know. So if you're not sure, put a clear quartz in there, of course. I want to thank you guys so much for joining me. Next week, we will absolutely talk about herbs and charging herbs. It's a slightly different, but kind of the same, slightly different. I want to thank you again so much. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of the day, rest of the week. I want to wish everyone a blessed Lunasa, and bake your bread, drink a beer or two for me, and just have a wonderful, wonderful time. Merry part, and I absolutely so hope to merry meet again. Goodbye, guys.